Hey guys, welcome back to the Interceptor. We're here with another Alliance War video, and this is going to be Alliance War Season 57 number 2, and AOH has matched up against NT06. Now, if you guys do remember, this is the alliance that we matched last season that accused me of modding for my fights, and then I sent them the proof, and I'm like, here, look, I clearly was not cheating, and then they apologized. But yeah, they did get docked. They got docked last season, and I am in contact with one of their officers, and he told me that it was for piloting. There was one guy in their alliance that they were not aware was piloting someone, and that's unfortunately what got them docked. But I do know that they are taking the season off this season. Their officer did tell me that, so I know that we're basically going to win this war as long as we don't triple the deaths we had in last war. So we are on path 3 section 1, and we are taking this Peni on the first node with Angela. This is a pretty straightforward matchup, not anything super crazy here. Unfortunately, you're not going to be doing a ton of damage into the block, so it is going to take quite a while to get that shield down, but I don't want to worry about any auto block in this fight, so I'm just trying to be safe. And then there I get auto blocked on one charge, which is just so funny. Yeah, you're hilarious, Peni Parker. I think it's a 5% chance per charge, so I literally hit her once with one charge, and she auto-blocked me. So, yay. We're going to be spamming Special 1 just to get some Fury up, and then dealing as some Furies up, and then just dealing as much damage as we can. Oh, there I thought I was going to throw another Special 1, but here I think I probably just want to push to Special 2. That's the right call. And yeah, bait out L2s. I prefer to bait out L2s against Peni whenever I can. And this time, because I have the Fury, the shield's going to go down almost instantly. This Peni really did not want to block, but there the shield goes down, and I'm just going to combo her a few times. The node here is the armor up bleed node, which causes glancing whenever the defender has an armor up. But Peni doesn't have armor ups, so she doesn't interact with the node, so it was just a path split. But here we have this Enchantress on node 12, a fight that I've taken many times, and in fact I took it last war. This one's not going to go super well. I am going to solo very easily still. I just do a really poor job in this fight of managing the combat power rate charges, and I actually lose the ability to throw specials, so I'm just relying on basics, which is not something you want to do in this fight. So I start off the fight correctly. You're just going to throw your Special 1, make sure that your Haymaker is coming back for when the spells are up, and then you're going to use your spells to, you're going to use your Haymaker to remove the spells. And with how well this fight, oh, it's because of medium attacks. Okay, I see, and I already have 2 charges. I was wondering why. It's because I threw a bunch of medium attacks. Or no, it was light attacks actually that I ran out of. I threw a bunch of light attacks during the Haymaker. Also, I am going to make a mistake right here. I just want to call this out. I improperly counted how many Special 1s I had baited out of Enchantress. For some reason in my head, I thought I had already baited out 2. I thought I had already baited out 2, and I only had, and I didn't have to do any more. But it turns out I'd only baited 1. So what that means is I didn't yet have the ability to push Enchantress to a Special 2. We're really trying to use my my unblockable here to land the intercept to remove the spell, but she just refused to go for it. So I decided that I was just going to push her to Special 2 even without it. This game lag that you're seeing in the video did not actually happen in the fight. I think it's just because the quality of the video is bad. I'm not sure exactly why that is, but yeah, there was definitely no lag in the fight that I did. So here, looking to get our spells up once again, but I think, yeah, there, okay, we finally remove the intercept spell, which is great, but as you can see, this fight should have already been over. Had I not lost my combat power rate and I still had the ability to throw special ones, this fight would have been over 40 seconds ago or so. I just did a really bad job in this war. There also, I don't know why I didn't heavy. That would have removed the spells, and I'm just like wasting time here. Here I'm gonna get the intercept, bait that L1 for God knows what reason. That was not very smart. But one thing I do know is that your relic cannot miss. So if you're trying to remove spells on Enchantress and she has the miss spell, you can still throw your relic safely, which is really nice. But here, Enchantress not being super nice to me, but we are going to be able to end the fight right there. There, had I done a medium ending combo, then I would have, she would have thrown her special one, but because I blocked straight out of the combo, I was able to just end the fight there. So, that is section 1. Let's go into section 2, and we are taking this arcade. This is on path 2, section 2. This is the the regeneration node, and in my assignments I was told that I also didn't plan this war, by the way, because this is the day that I was moving, I believe. I think this was the day that I was moving back home after school. But in my notes, I was told bring whoever you want for this fight or use Angela. And I really didn't like Angela for this fight because with the way that Arcade works, his auto block cannot be reduced by ability accuracy, or like there's some part of his kit that does not allow Angela to bypass his auto block. So you would have to constantly be hitting him with heavy attacks. You'd have to like soak up tons of block damage to not have to dash back and trigger the regen so much. And I just thought, you know what? I'm just going to bring Hood. And actually, I ended up reassigning one of my Hood fights that was on my alt account to this account because of timing. And I'm actually going to take one more fight with Hood, even though I don't have any bullets left. You'll see how that goes. So, this fight right here, Sinister. Something happened in this fight, and something unfortunate, and I am going to show you what happened. I'm not going to show you... I am going to end this part of the recording right here, and we're going to pause for a second as soon as I enter the fight. So, I was at a hockey tournament this past weekend when I was recording these fights. I had full bars, and I had 5G data. So I thought, obviously I'm going to be fine, right? I have full bars. I was not in the middle of nowhere. I was in near the town. We'll just say I was in a spot where I should have had very, very good connection. And I'm just going to play this video for you. I disconnected. So I went through the fight. And as you can see, I will be at like 100% health by the time this concussion expires. I am clearly hitting Sinister, like I'm in complete control of the fight. The whole idea for this fight is just a special 2 over and over and over again. But unfortunately, I disconnected. And I messaged my alliance. I'm like, hey guys, I don't know why this happened because I actually have really good connection out here, but I just randomly disconnected in the middle of the fight. And if you were wondering about the the Wi-Fi symbol that appears in the bottom right, it was there for, I want to say, about 10 seconds before the disconnect occurred. But it's been a really long time since I've disconnected in war, so it's obviously very sad and very annoying, especially when I had good connection. But, you know, sometimes Kabam just says, no attack bonus for you, and they just steal an attack bonus. So, they also stole an invuln, because I have to invuln for this fight, for safety. Well, actually, I don't have to, but I did, so I ended up using an extra invuln here. And the whole strat for this fight is to just push Mr. Sinister to a special 2 and block the first hit dex out of it. As long as Mr. Sinister never throws back-to-back special ones in this fight, then you are not going to be at any risk, basically. And the nodes are essentially turned off, and it is just a full stun immune Sinister, which obviously sucks because when you crit, he is going to be regenerating all that damage, but you're still going to be chipping him down with the non-crit hits. Unfortunately, the way that concussion interacts with what's it called, with Haymaker, is that it completely turns it off. Like, your Haymaker just doesn't exist, none of your effects trigger, and then it just goes on cooldown. And also, concussion means that your light attacks are not going to trigger debuffs. So your damage is just severely nerfed. And if you are curious, before entering this war, I did switch my stat focus on Titania from crit to special damage, I believe I changed it to. I don't remember. Yeah, I think it was special damage. And the whole point of that was to for this fight here, because I knew it wouldn't make like a significant difference. If anything, it would just make a really tiny difference in the Enchantress fight, but in a fight like this, critting an extra 10 or 15 times could add an extra 30 seconds or 45 seconds onto the fight. So not really something I wanted to deal with. And yeah, while this fight is going to be a little bit slow, you are going to take it down very, very safely. Most times when I see a defender on this node that does not like really demand a top attacker, or not a top attacker, but like a very specific attacker, I will send Titania, just because other than the node being stun immune, she turns off every single node, so it just becomes a stun immune duel. So it's a very smart strategy to use in war to assign like that. And yeah, this fight is going to be over really soon. We did a good job of pushing him to special 2 every single time. We never let him throw a single special 1, and that L2 does finish the fight off there. And we weren't sure if the attack bonus was going to be lost, because according to my alliance mates who checked, it still said full attack bonus, but I'm fairly certain the way that it works is that it doesn't record the attack bonus being lost until the player that disconnected logs back in. So I suspected it worked like that, but I was not 100% sure. Here I'm just changing my masteries because I have a really scary rank 4 Arnim Zola on the Conflictor Hazard Shift mini, and I'm doing this fight with Angela. And I decided on the strat I was going to use for this fight while I was like looking at the assignments, and I thought, because I knew at that point I would have wags, and I thought, I think I'm just going to parry heavy the entire fight, because eventually I'm going to get furies and I'm going to do a lot of damage. You crit more often when you have the when you're throwing a heavy attack. So that's what I wanted to do. And also, you can't trigger Conflictor with Angela because this node has armor break immunity, so the L1 wouldn't inflict armor breaks anyways. So yeah, this fight's gonna take a little bit of time, but as you can see, our heavy attacks are actually doing some pretty solid damage. We are spamming the special 1, and the whole point of spamming the special 1 is to reactivate more furies, because when your L1 lands, you're going to get another fury, and then when you get back to special 1, you're going to get a 3rd fury, which is the most you can get with Angela. But yeah, you're just going to be doing a very good amount of damage, and we're just going to keep this up for the whole fight. And yeah, just going to bait a special 1. I don't consistently know how to punish his special 1, so we're not going to be doing that. But it's not super necessary, because this war is definitely not going to come down to fight time. And also, if you're unaware of the way that suicides interact with Angela as a attacker, or I guess as a defender too, but like it's more relevant as an attacker, is that for her regeneration, she counts how much damage she takes, and every 10% of her health in damage she takes, she activates a regeneration. However, that effect does not check for willpower healing before calculating how much you're gaining / losing. So you could be losing 200 per tick from poison, but you could be regenerating more than that from willpower, or the same amount from willpower, but the game still counts it as damage taken. So you are going to get basically infinitely get regenerations, even though you're not losing health. And that's always the way that Angela has worked with suicides, is why she's so good with them. But yeah, that fight took about 2.5 minutes. To be fair, that was a rank 4 Zola. So it probably would have taken a little bit under 2 minutes had it been a rank 3. But yeah, big beefy boy. Very, very beefy. So now we're going to go on to the last fight on my main account, which is going to be Node 46 Sersi with Hood. And even though I did not have any bullets, I was still very, very confident in my ability to do this fight. This was a rank 3 Sersi, and we're just going to heal Hood up. I don't even know if I'm going to use an invuln. I probably shouldn't. Oh, I'm using an advanced power boost? That's honestly a waste. I don't know why I used that. That was really stupid. But yeah, we're just going to be relying on our basic damage. Also, I chose to leave suicides on here just because I know Hood doesn't really, like, suicides don't affect him as much as you might think for a champion that spams special attacks. Well, obviously he has regeneration in his base kit, but I just meant in general. And yeah, Hood's going to be doing some really good damage here. I mean, it's only been 30 seconds and this Sersi's already down to full health, so we probably only need to get to maybe one more special attack. One thing you are going to see me use in this fight is the trick where you can use your invisibility to punish special attacks you normally would not be able to punish. So for example, I did it wrong there. I could have dashed in. I don't know why I did that wrong. But I think right here, no, it's going to be the next special one. We're going to activate invisibility to be able to punish it. Yeah, so I definitely misplayed that. That fight could have been over a lot faster, but it's fine because we're activating our miss now, and I think this special 2 just ends the fight. Okay, there we go. So a little bit over a minute. It's a somewhat decent placement, but I still think Serpent belongs on that node most wars. So that is going to be it for my main account. Let's get over to my alt account where we have the very beefy rank 4 Thanos War Boss with Hood. So we have the full trinity here today, and we are taking, I think, 7 fights with Hood. So first up, we have Path 8 Section 1, and we are going to be taking on this Manthing. This is a pretty straightforward node fight. This node has Rage, and then it also has Rise to Power. So whenever I knock down... excuse me. I had to yawn. Whenever I knock down the defender, they are going to gain a timer, and if they hit my block during that timer or they hit me, they are going to be getting a bunch of power gain. So we're going to hope that doesn't happen. Obviously, it is possible to get your invisibility nullified from hitting Manthing with a contact attack. We got a little bit lucky because that's not going to happen a single time in this fight, but to be fair, it's such a tiny chance to nullify that it was actually pretty likely it was never going to happen. Like, it was more likely that it wouldn't happen a single time than it would happen like once. So I'm not surprised at all. So yeah, here we're just trying to dash back, get our invisibility. Gonna throw this L2, and then I'm fairly certain the fight is going to be over. Yeah, right there. So minute-long fight, really good matchup, because also your Fate Seal is going to lower his chance to nullify on contact, so it's an even lower chance than his normal kit. This fight, Adam Warlock, seems like a good placement on paper with the stun immunity and you having to land heavy attacks. it just doesn't really work out, unfortunately, for Adam Warlock. Like, the placement doesn't really do anything. We're trying to go... we should probably have gone for another heavy attack right there. I don't know what I'm doing. But we're going to get our unblockable. We're going to deal tons of damage here. And there I also should have punished. I don't know what I'm doing. Go for a heavy attack. Going to activate the pod. Wait it out. And because he's at 19 charges there, we were actually able to nullify the buffs. But they did come back because he went Fate Seal Immune after. And yeah, really, really easy fight with Hood. Straightforward. And let's go on to our section 2, where we are taking path 3. We have this Hulkling on Encroaching Stun. And the danger of a fight like this is the overwhelming odds, where the Hulkling is going to have extra attack on him until I throw my special 2 for the first time, and then he just kind of does nothing. We are going to parry, get an extra heavy attack off, but as soon as we throw L2 in this fight, we are going to be nullifying a bunch of buffs and just getting tons of power. I was hoping right here that I would not crit before his indestructible activated, and we got lucky and we did not crit, because had I crit in the 2 or 3 hits before he triggered his indestructible, it would have nullified his indestructible if it was the hit right before, and it would have made it a passive, because when you nullify Hulkling's buffs, they just become passives. So, or at least the indestructible. I don't know about the other ones, but the indestructible does. So there I was just counting my energy, and I would only need 1 small energy refill to make it to all my fights, so that's pretty nice. We have Attuma here on the Safeguard node, which also has the Combat Deja Vu Degeneration, so you don't want to be throwing a bunch of the same hits back to back. And you'll notice I'll be doing like medium, light, medium combos or whatever it is. There we accidentally do 2 mediums, but it turns out that actually heals us, because you only really start taking damage until you have multiple of them on. But there we land an accidental parry. Not something I intended, but it's fine. Gonna throw the L2 there, and then I think... oh, we probably could have detonated there and just done a bunch of damage, but looks like we're just gonna go for another L2. And yeah, there's a heavy that wipes out 67% of his health. Pretty nice fight. Only 37 seconds. So let's go to our next mini here, which is going to be Medusa on Rich Get Richer. I actually don't hate this placement. I think this is a pretty decent placement, because Medusa obviously is a champion that gets buffs on her own, which means you can't just dex at the start of the fight and gain power, because once she gets a fury buff, she'll tie you and then you will stop gaining power. However, Hood just doesn't really care. Hood doesn't care about anything Medusa does. Hood is such an insanely hard Medusa counter, because you crit to stagger, which just gets rid of all the furies, and also your L2 is just going to remove them. You can hit into auto block, and like you can fully get auto blocked with Hood and just not care as long as you're invisible, because you're going to be stun immune. It just does not matter. And yeah, that was like a 22-second fight. 24 seconds, just absolute destruction. I also could have taken that Nova, but honestly that Nova would have been even easier, or at least between the two, in my opinion, that was the easier of the 2 fights. So I let one of the rank 3 Hoods take it, and not my main account, but you know, one of the rank 3 Hoods. And here we have Mix Master Maestro. This is going to be a pretty nice fight. Once again, we are going to be doing our light medium combos, just like we were against Attuma. Going to be going for some power back, and just going to be absolutely ignoring everything that Maestro does, because we are going to be pausing his charges from knocking him down all the time. We are going to throw one more special 2, and then I think this dude is just done for. Yeah, he didn't get to throw a special. He did not get to do anything in that fight, but just sit there and tank hits for 25 seconds before dying. Hood is just so unfair, man. He's Like, I think he's so clearly the best Mystic attacker in the game right now. At least the most versatile. At least. But in my opinion, the best. And yeah, he's just absolutely disgusting. So now we're going to go for this rank 4 Thanos boss with Hood. I have taken rank 4 Thanos boss once last season, and I used Chill for it just because it's a little bit safer. But I did get a good amount of practice taking Deathless Thanos in the off season with Hood, and I do know a way to make it very consistent now. So I do feel very comfortable with this fight, and when I saw this fight, I was like, oh, I'm getting this fight. Like, I'm assigning it to myself, and it's going to be so easy. Oh my god, my dog is scratching on my door, if you just heard that, wanting attention. So as soon as I finish recording this video, I'll go give my dog some attention, but I unfortunately have to ignore them until right now, or until I'm done recording the video. So we are able to use, oh my god, the dog's being so loud. We are able to use the tactic in this fight to deal some extra damage. So that's really nice. But the way that you want to fight Thanos with, oh my god, my dog. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it's so loud. My dog's just scratching on my door. The way you want to fight Thanos with Hood is you want to use basics and specials to get down 25%, and then in that time of getting down the first 25%, you will have inflicted a bunch of bullets. Those bullets will be enough to get down the next 25%. So as soon as the protection goes away, you can just detonate instantly, and within 10 seconds go from 75% to 50%. And we're just going to do that twice. All you have to do is repeat that strategy 2 times, once from 100 to 50, and then another time from 50 to 0, and the fight is going to be over. Like right here, the protection triggers. I'm just going to dash back straight into a heavy. Bro's dead. 98% health finish. Didn't even come close to running out of bullets. Minute 40, rank 4 Thanos boss. Absolutely disgusting. Hood is so nasty. And yeah, that is going to be it for this one. We did win this war. It was not close. I think the final score was like 10 to 35. We had 7 deaths with 140 attack bonus, or sorry, with 140 fights cleared, and then we just managed to die 3 times in our last 10 fights somehow. But I mean, it's still like a decent score. It's just nothing insane. So we're now 2-0 on the season. I still have 0 deaths on both accounts, and my PSR this season is 26 out of 26 fights soloed, and that's 11 on my main, 15 on my alt. I have a 34 fight deathless streak going on right now. I have a 12 fight streak on my main and a 30 fight streak on my alt. So that is going to be it. Have a great day, everyone, and I will see you in the next one.